And there are two other ingredients you have to get right in order to make bulletproof coffee. The first one is butter from grass-fed cows.
Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. You know, for years now, I've wondered why so many people who are not vegan themselves are so outspoken against veganism. Like, why are we a threat to you? Why are we living rent-free in your head? This week, I'm going to respond to some just completely nonsensical crap said by David Asprey. I made a video a long time, like maybe 10 years ago about this dude. He's the guy behind Bulletproof Coffee. He's some multi-millionaire biohacker guy. Anyway, this short video of his came across my feed today. I have no idea how old or recent it is. Judging by his appearances, I don't think it's a terribly old video. I think it's pretty recent. So he has 3 reasons why he thinks veganism sucks, and they're all crap, and I'll show you one by one here.
3 reasons that you would choose to go vegan. You believe it's healthier for you.
All right, already off to a horrible start the first 4 seconds there, but if you're going to go out of your way to talk smack about veganism, at least know what veganism is. No, veganism is not a health movement or something like that. You don't go vegan for your health. You can start a vegan diet, you can eat a plant-based diet for health reasons, but that's not what veganism is. Please do a little research before trying to debunk veganism. Veganism, if you're not aware, is a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation. In other words, if a person's going vegan, to use David's wording here, you're going vegan for the animals, not for yourself.
At this point, we know with 100% certainty that it is not healthier for you. No matter how much you yell about it or bully people, it's still not healthy.
Okay, so even though there's no such thing as a vegan diet, because there's literally like hundreds, thousands of ways you can eat plants, that's what a vegan diet is, and there's healthier and less healthier ways to do it. But anyway, let's take him at his word here. He's saying there's no way to eat a vegan diet in a healthy way, and this is an absolute 100% known fact. For starters, David could have just done a basic Google search. Is it a known fact that a vegan diet is unhealthy? Like, no, it is not a known fact that a vegan diet is inherently unhealthy. While a poorly planned vegan diet can lead to some problems, yes, I agree 100%. It's widely recognized that a well-planned vegan diet can be very healthy and offer numerous benefits. And I'm sure some anti-vegans watching are thinking, well, that Google search could have just been hallucinating the results. Well, yeah, that's why you shouldn't rely just on one person or one source to base all your information on. Let's take a look at, say, Tufts Medicine, a well-respected medical college. And Tufts agrees, vegan diets can be part of a healthy lifestyle when planned and implemented correctly. Yeah, and this well-planning aspect that Tufts mentions is repeated in the Google search that I showed earlier. And this well-planning thing, where have I heard that before? Yeah, pretty much all these health organizations from around the world are echoing Google, Tufts University. A well-planned vegan diet is nutritionally adequate for all people. And might I add that these position statements from these health organizations were formed after having read and reviewed the scientific literature. So there is, unlike what Dave's saying, a general scientific consensus about the nutritional adequacy of a vegan diet being healthy. So Dave, show me what you got, because it sounds like you're just pulling crap out of your butt. Also, I'll add a link up top to my Blood Labs playlist so Dave can see that I've been vegan for 14 years and I'm 57 years old now, and I'm still waiting for the unhealthy part to kick in. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, Dave, as you will see, advocates for grass-fed beef and all the magic and wonder of how great it is for your health. Well, what Dave doesn't mention is that there yet doesn't exist a single study showing that grass-fed beef is better for people's health than just traditional, conventional factory farm beef. And as far as science knows, grass-fed beef still has the same health risks as traditional beef, such as colon cancer, parasite and bacterial infection, just to name a few.
Number 2, we might say we're doing it for the environment.
So for Dave's second reason as to why people go vegan, he got it wrong again a second straight time. You don't go vegan for the environment. You go plant-based for the environment. You go vegan for the animals. Dave, are you listening? But anyway, yeah, you know what's going to happen next. He's going to just gaslight and say a bunch of crazy nonsense about how eating plants is so horrible for the environment. Well, let me just stop right now and show the science that says that vegan diets are actually good for the environment. A nice side benefit to actually giving a crap about animal cruelty and exploitation. If we look at this Nature Food study published in 2023, that showed that vegan diets resulted in 75% less climate heating emissions, water pollution, and land use than diets in which more than 100 grams of meat was eaten a day. And once again, we shouldn't just rely just on one source of information, albeit this is a pretty good one compared to like some shirtless influencer in the jungle dude. But anyway, let's say look at what the United Nations has concluded after having reviewed the relevant science on the matter, and they've concluded that a vegan diet is the most climate-friendly diet, followed by vegetarian. So with the actual science out of the way now, let's commence with David's gaslighting.
Animal poop is as important as animal meat or milk because the poop builds soil, and soil is a carbon sink, and soil grows food. No animals, no poop, no soil. No soil, no plants. We must have animals in our ecosystem. That's how it works.
So if I understand Dave's argument, I think he was trying to make one, is that it's absolutely necessary to have animal poop in the environment in order for there to be healthy soils, in order for there to be food produced. So he's saying it's necessary to have animal poop in order for us to have food. Is he right? Of course not. Once again, David is 100% wrong here. There is veganic farming, which seeks to de-link plant farming from animal farming and produce plant-based food in a sustainable manner without exploitation of animals. And this is not from some kind of crazy vegan activist resource. It's Eastern Oregon University. And for any anti-vegans wondering why I'm bringing this up, you're probably thinking, well, there's not that much veganic farming out there. Yeah, I understand it's a small percentage of total overall farming. There's inertia and farmers to change their practices. But I bring this up to disprove Dave's assertion that you 100% need animal poop in order to have healthy soils to produce food. He's just flat out wrong.
You could say, well, I'm going to go vegan because of moral and ethical things. I don't want to create suffering in animals.
Well, as they say, third time's a charm, and Dave pretty much got veganism right this time, but let's see what he screws up.
The deaths per calorie from plant foods.
Uh-oh, you're not going where I think you're going, because if you are, you're going to get cooked badly.
The deaths per calorie from plant foods involves all of the animals that were killed to stop them from eating your wheat, your corn, your soy, your avocados.
You speak about vegans, your wheat, corn, soy, and avocados. Really, I was not aware, David, that only vegans ate those foods. But if you would like to go down this road, David, I most gladly will, because I actually have the data. I'm not just making a bunch of crap up like you are. There's actually been mathematical models made to calculate, to estimate how many animals are killed in order to produce, say, 1 million calories of food in 8 food categories. And what's most revealing about this mathematical model is that it takes into account both the numbers of animals killed in slaughter and harvest, which Dave is all concerned about here. He's all of a sudden an advocate for the animals. Maybe you're really a vegan inside. So if you truly want to have the fewest number of animals harmed in your foods, you would have no choice other than to be vegan by eating grains, fruits, and vegetables.
If you want the lowest deaths per calorie, it is grass-fed bison, followed by grass-fed cows. And the reason for that is that you can eat a whole bison for 2 years and have a pound of meat a day.
So what Dave's saying here is 100% absurd for a number of reasons. First of all, he seems to be advocating for a carnivore diet for humans all across the world to give up eating all plants, just eat nothing but meat. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, eat meat, eat bison and cows all day, every day. Well, as absurd and unhealthy that may be, I'm not even going to get into the health aspects of that. It's just absolutely impossible. There's simply not enough land mass on planet Earth to support 100% of humans eating grass-fed beef all day. In fact, I made a video on this very matter several years ago where I used very conservative numbers I was trying to be as generous to these grass-fed beef people. I didn't want them to criticize me for using radical vegan activist website numbers. Anyway, we calculated you would need a bare minimum of 3 planet Earths to pull this off. So in other words, unless we can somehow create new planets to just entirely dedicate beef grazing to, it's always going to be a diet for the rich, privileged elite who can afford to pay the extra premium for their magical grass-fed beef. So in the real world here, where we only have one planet, your average meat eater is going to be supporting meat produced from these sorts of conditions.
The largest cow raising operation on the west coast of the United States sits right next to Interstate 5. Thousands of people drive right by the facility every day. They smell the foul air long before they reach the 800-acre feedlot.
And that's high nutritious, high mineral, good quality food.
That's not a monopoly on grass-fed beef. Plenty of plants are super nutrient dense and have high minerality too.
That bison or that cow, if it's grass-fed, walked on land that was still natural land, which means it increased biodiversity. And instead, we could take that land and we could kill everything, plow everything under, add some chemical fertilizer, and we could turn it into corn.
I mean, this is completely absurd and disingenuous. I cannot believe that Dave is this stupid. I'm sure he knows that the vast majority of corn grown on this planet, and the United States too, is not grown for human consumption. Most of it goes to either feed livestock or as fuel in the form of ethanol. Less than 2% is for direct human consumption, and a tiny fraction of that actually reaches the mouths of vegans.
I'd rather eat the bison than corn on the cob.
Yeah, absolutely no surprise from someone who seems to have absolutely no concern about animal cruelty and exploitation, but he makes it sound like eating corn on the cob is this horrible peasant food, how we can't be enjoying life. And here's some corn on the cob plus some other plant dishes that Angie made for us, and we're living life to its fullest here. So again, why do people have to say all this crap about veganism? Like, if you're not vegan, just do your non-vegan thing. Take all your weird drugs and your butter coffee and narcolepsy drugs so you don't have to sleep and stuff, David. Why do you have to just lie and just speak badly about veganism for? I don't understand how this benefits you. Well, I guess it drives people away from being interested in plant-based diets and veganism, so they'll buy your expensive supplements and stuff. Yeah, I kind of get it now. Yeah, most of these people that speak badly about veganism are grifters in one shape or form or another. So yeah, it makes sense. So anyway, I guess you guys don't even have to comment now. I figured it out myself in the course of making this video. But if you thought everything I said was wrong and all those 3 reasons why David said why people are vegan, what his nonsense was correct, I'd love to hear from you. Honestly, don't leave a shitty comment. I'll just delete it or ban you if you're a complete a-hole. But please come to my Friday live streams, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and try to hold back your inner a-hole if that's who you are, and try to be civil, and we could maybe have a civil discourse on the subject. I'd like to do that, so come. And until next time, guys, remember, doesn't suck being vegan.